Let's talk a bit about Bulgari. Bulgari is a company that's known for fine jewelry. They have roots in, making earrings, making rings, things like that are beautiful. And, often we see them on women, especially famous women. But Bulgari also makes fine watches. And I happen to have a Bulgari Bulgari Chronograph on my wrist right now. It's a very attractive watch. In this video today, we're going to go over the history of Bulgari, which is a really great history and a lot of interesting things to cover there. We're going to talk about the design, the water resistance, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this Bulgari Bulgari Chronograph in stainless steel and gold. This watch is part of a series that goes back about 45 years, and it was designed by an icon in watch design, Gerald Genta. The roots of Bulgari go back to 1884, so they've been around quite a long time. Their watchmaking has picked up a lot more, in probably the last 100 years. I would say more and more probably in the last 50 years is what we would see. And I think that this watch right here is going to be something amazing to talk about. So let's learn a little bit more. Sit back and relax, pour yourself a nice drink, and let's get started. On this watch, you're going to see the iconic Bulgari Bulgari on the bezel. It's a stationary bezel, it doesn't move. But that's what this is about. That's what this series of watch is about. You see that Bulgari Bulgari and it stands out almost like jewelry. And if you're the kind of person who can manage to wear a watch that looks a little bit like jewelry, this watch certainly fits the bill. And it is something that's very attractive, especially to my eye, and it looks great on the wrist. And I would say that this is an overall beautiful watch, but it does lean a little bit towards the jewelry side and not really the functional or utility side. As you're going to see in this animation, Bulgari is actually located in the Jura region of Switzerland. So, very important part of the world when it comes to watchmaking. And you're going to see that they have a facility in Sentir that produces the miniature functional components. Then they also have a facility in Sangyangir, which produces casings and the bands. And then, of course, they have one in Chaux-de-Fonds that produces the high-end dials. And then finally, they have a Neuchâtel facility, and that's just basically where they have a lot of their administrative and other components that are created for the Bulgari watches. Bulgari has an image that's actually connected to stars like Elizabeth Taylor, Ingrid Bergman, and during the 50s and 60s, Rome was even considered like the Hollywood on the Tiber. So there's that stylized image that Bulgari has associated with style icons and also people in Hollywood and jewelry, and that shines through in this watch. I think Bulgari put effort into creating something here that has the style of jewelry, but fuses it with, what in my opinion would be a good watch. It's just a good all-around, for me, sturdy and nice to look at watch. But it is like jewelry. It just is. And that's what Bulgari's done here. And for me, it's a joy to wear. I've always wanted a Bulgari watch. I've always thought about them, always want to get my hands on them. And now that I have this one, like I said, it's a joy to wear and I'm really happy with it in every way. Bulgari actually produces many different styles of watches. They've got this series, the Bulgari Bulgari. They've got the Serpentine that almost looks like a creature wrapped around your wrist. They have the Octa, which I don't know, it just has a beautiful design. And I actually plan on doing a review of the Octa on this channel in the near future. They got a 140-year history. They've been in the game for a long time. They're really good at what they do when it comes to making jewelry, and that's just what they're known for. I would say that this has a lot of Italian influence, but it's also got Roman influence. This looks like a coin if you look at it. This has an exterior edge that has the Bulgari on it, and it cuts. It's got that sharp edge, and it looks like a coin. And that's what they have here. They got the rich Roman history influence here, and you see it in this design. So seeing Italian design on the wrist in a nice wristwatch, I really enjoy it. And I think that this is a beautiful watch. And that's part of the reason why I think it's a beautiful watch is because there's elements here that remind me of jewelry. And I think it looks good on a man's wrist. And I'm enjoying it right now. You're going to see a mirror polish on this watch, especially on the bezel. It's impossible not to notice. You're also going to see the Bulgari Bulgari engraved in there deeply, so it really, really stands out. And I think that's it's a nice feature. It's just something that's good to look at. It's just nice to look at. You're also going to notice that the bezel is really raised from the case of the watch. So it sits out quite a bit. And once again, it's like jewelry. You see it's made out of gold, and that gold that's like a red gold really pops out. So it looks nice here, it looks beautiful, and I think it's the right treatment that they should have done for this. This only has 5 bars of water resistance. So can you go diving with this? Can you take it into the ocean or the pool? Wouldn't recommend it. Maybe the shower, but even then, you know, maybe washing your hands is probably as far as I would take this, because once again, it's more of an aesthetic type watch than anything else. This is not the kind of watch that you're going to wear into the pool or abusing it in any way. This dial is black. It's got a nice black, almost shiny finish. I would say it's kind of mirrored, but it's not. The sub-dials of the chronograph are a matte black, and I like that. I think that looks really nice. The crown is actually gold, but it's got like a little piece of onyx in there, which is really attractive. And then the pushers for the chronograph are the stainless steel, and they're polished as well. There's the gold markers for the hours. There's a little bit of lume. You can read this in dark conditions, but you can't read it in completely dark conditions. The lume isn't that great, and it's not really made for that. This is much more for being in a situation where you get to show it off and you get to see how the light plays on it and stuff like that. And that's what this watch is good for. But overall, the dial looks good. You know, the markers are gold, and they're mirror polish as well. And the hands also have that red gold finish, and they're mirror polished, and a little tiny bit of sliver of lume on the hour hand and the minute hand, but the second hand doesn't have any. So, you know, overall, very attractive. Also, there's some little tiny markers that go on the outside for the seconds for the chronograph, and it looks great. It's actually a really nice touch and a really nice detail. Even though this is a newer design of a Bulgari Bulgari watch, you know, obviously this is the Bulgari Bulgari Chronograph, it still has a lot of the same identity of the other Bulgari Bulgari watches. It doesn't change that much. There's a few little upgrades here and there, a few little changes, but nothing that stands out and is over the top different. But like I said, the bezel sits off the case pretty high, and it's got this really pretty curve to the front crystal. It's a really interesting curve. It curves over the top of your wrist, and it actually really accentuates things. Not everybody's going to notice it. You kind of have to be a watch person to see that, but once you get that crown, you get that curved sapphire, you're really going to fall in love. You're really going to find a lot of beauty in it. The crystal caseback isn't a huge caseback. With the crystal, it's kind of small, but you still get to see the movement, and I'll tell you what, that movement is beautiful. The rotor on it that says Bulgari, it's just perfect for this, and it looks beautiful, and it's something that you're gonna sit around and look at. You're gonna put it in the light. You're gonna be fascinated by how well it's put together and how beautiful it is. I want to thank you for spending the time with me to learn about this Bulgari Bulgari Chronograph. I also learned a little bit about Bulgari. It's important that you comment, like, subscribe, and share, because those comments I will read, and if you have something that you want to learn about, let me know, and I will get that watch and I'll bring it on this channel so you can learn more. Thank you very much.